You wake up and your face is puffy. By the evening, your ankles are swollen, your rings are tight, and your legs feel heavy for no reason you can name. And everybody online will tell you the same thing. Your lymph is clogged. Buy this brush, buy this supplement. Your lymphatic system is not a drain. It doesn't clog, it slows down. Here's what nobody explains before they sell you something. You have a second circulatory system. Your blood vessels leak fluid into your tissues all day on purpose, and your lymphatic system collects it, filters it through your lymph nodes, and returns it to your bloodstream at the base of your neck. One direction only, and it has no pump. Your heart moves your blood. Nothing moves lymph except you. Nothing moves your lymph except you. And gravity isn't helping. From your legs, that fluid travels up against gravity back to your chest, which is why the muscles in your calves matter much more than any brush you can buy. And here's the part that surprised me when I first learned it. When you eat fat, it does not go into your bloodstream first. Fat gets absorbed through special vessels in your small intestine called lacteals, packaged up and carried through your lymphatic system before it ever reaches your blood. The fat you ate this morning is in your lymph right now. Not your blood, your lymph. Which means the quality of the fat in your diet is a lymphatic issue, not just a heart issue. Hold on to that because it's why we're starting where we're starting. One honest note before we go: puffiness, heaviness, fatigue, brain fog. These are non-specific. They overlap with about 40 other things. I don't want to be one of those influencers that says these 3 foods will fix you like so many of them do. What I am about to show you is general support for people who are basically healthy, who want to add lymphatic drainage. So if movement is the pump, why are we starting at the grocery store? Because what you eat decides how much there is to move in the first place. So we're heading to the grocery store now. Before we start, I want to be straight with you about something because most videos on this topic are not. No food drains your lymph. Nothing you eat contracts a muscle and moves your diaphragm. What food does is decide how much of it there is to move. 6 things that make the load heavier, 3 things to make it lighter. Herbs, though, are in a different category. In tincture form, they're concentrated enough to work the system itself. They're the one thing in this whole list that's a real tradition behind them for lymph specifically. We're going to get into that later in the video. Some foods to limit or eliminate: refined carbohydrates and sugar, white flour, pastries, anything that spikes you and then drops you. This drives fluid shifts and inflammatory load, and it's the most common thing in a puffy person's diet. Ultra-processed packaged food, and here's the specific problem: sodium without potassium. Most people get roughly double the sodium they need and nowhere near enough potassium. Sodium holds water out in your tissues. Potassium is what pulls it into your cell. It's not the salt making you puffy, it's the salt without the potassium. Fried foods and industrial seed oils like canola, vegetables, safflower. This is super important. I'm going to talk about fats a lot in this video. It's because of where that fat goes. I'll come back to that a little bit later in the video. Next up, alcohol. Alcohol dehydrates you. It dilates your vessels and gives your liver more to do. I'm not saying never to drink, but just know that it affects your lymphatic system. Your liver is your lymphatic system's closest working partner. One backs up and the other feels the effects. Processed deli meats, sodium, nitrates, preservatives, and it's the food people eat daily without ever counting it as processed. Now 3 foods to add: dark leafy greens, spinach, chard, kale, arugula, collards. The potassium and magnesium in the same bite. This is the potassium side of that sodium equation. And if you do one thing on this whole section, it's this. Another food to prioritize: high quality protein like this salmon. And this is the one nobody else will tell you. There's a protein in your blood called albumin, and one of its main jobs is holding on to fluid inside your blood vessels. A lot of the puffiness people blame on their lymph is actually a protein problem. Eggs, fish, meat, and legumes, whatever fits how you eat. Just don't be quietly under-eating protein and then wondering why you're swollen. One more to prioritize: high quality fats. I'm a huge fan of olive oil, hemp, chia, flax, walnuts. Here's why. Remember what I said in the office: when you eat fat, it doesn't go into your blood first. It's absorbed into your lacteals in your small intestine and travels through your lymphatic system before it ever reaches circulation. The fat you eat travels through your lymph before it touches your blood. That changes how you shop. Every other creator tells you to eat good fat for your heart. I'm telling you to eat it for your lymphatic system. Food decides how much there is to move. Movement decides whether it actually moves. Okay, so sorry I'm a little flush. I just got out of the ocean, just went surfing. I want to demonstrate now 6 ways to improve lymphatic drainage. It's important to remember that lymphatic drainage is not all about diet. There's a lot of manual things that you can do and lifestyle habits to improve lymphatic flow and drainage. Let's get into it. I'm going to demonstrate these for you now. So before I get into demonstrations, let's go through the basic, most important thing for lymphatic health: movement. Muscle contraction is the pump. If you don't have muscle movement, you don't have lymph movement. That's the whole mechanism. And the type genuinely doesn't matter: walking, yoga, swimming, surfing, cycling, jumping rope. If you notice that you feel better and less inflamed when you work out, that's because you're literally moving lymph fluid. Break up sitting down just with some simple movement. I'm a huge fan of rebounding. That's where you jump on a mini trampoline. Any type of full body movement. Stretching is so great as well. Just remember, the more still you sit, the more that your lymph builds up. Number 2, also foundational to lymphatic health: breathing. So I'm going to demonstrate a simple breathing technique called the 6-3-9 method. This helps to activate the diaphragm. So you're going to start off with a hand on your stomach and then a hand on your chest. And we're going to do inhale for 6 through the nose. And then hold for 3. And then exhale through the mouth for 9. And then repeat. You should feel the diaphragm filling up. Hold for 3. And then exhale for 9. So when you're doing that breathing technique, you should notice that your bottom hand moves, but your top hand doesn't. That's the whole tell. If your top hand is rising, you're breathing into your chest and your diaphragm is barely moving. Now here is why diaphragmatic breathing matters so much. The biggest lymphatic vessel in your body, the one carrying about 75% of your lymph, it runs from your abdomen straight up through your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is sitting directly on top of it. Every deep belly breath physically compresses and releases that vessel. Every shallow chest breath doesn't touch it. Your diaphragm sits right on top of the biggest lymphatic vessel in your entire body. Deep breathing squeezes it. Chest breathing does nothing, and most people breathe into their chest all day long. Shoulders up, belly tight, sitting at a desk all day. Just the simple first 2 steps here, activating the diaphragm and movement, can do so much for the lymphatic system. Number 3, manual body work. I'm a huge fan of the foam roller. I use the foam roller just about every single day. You can get into the legs, glutes, upper backs. You really want to go slow and get into those trigger points. Here's what my massage therapist told me that reframed this whole thing for me. A knot isn't a lump of anything. It's a muscle stuck in contraction that never lets go. And lymph moves on muscle contracting and relaxing. That cycle is a pump. A knot is a piece of muscle that stopped pumping. So get this foam roller and just get into the tissue every single day, like I'm gonna do right now. So this is getting into the IT band. I also like to get into the spine. This is one of my favorite ones. You'd be shocked at how much spine movement you get. I love getting into the lats, like these muscles here. I also like getting into the front, like hips and psoas. Anyways, the general idea with the foam roller is you're manually breaking up those knots, and doing it consistently at home is so key. If you only rely on a massage therapist once a month, you're not going to get that lymph moving the way that you need. Doing it at home, become your own therapist, get that tissue circulation going. Foam rollers are amazing. All right, tip number 4, infrared sauna or a dry sauna. So heat dilates your blood vessels and moves circulation. And circulation and lymph are directly related. It also feels great. I try to get in here a few times a week. I want to be honest that at one point I was overdoing the infrared. It's really easy to overdo it because it doesn't get as hot as a regular dry sauna. So I try to just go in maybe 2 times a week nowadays, and I'm making sure to replenish my electrolytes, which I'll talk about next. I just jumped in the pool to cool off. All right, tip number 5, so water and minerals. Your lymph is mostly water. Dehydrated lymph moves slower. Now, you know, if you watched my previous videos, I'm all about dialing in your minerals. Minerals are what pull water into the cells. So 2 options for drinking water. You can do a good spring water, but this can get pretty expensive for a whole family. So what we do at our house, we have a reverse osmosis filter system, fill up a pitcher, and then we remineralize with this fulvic acid and trace ocean mineral product from Zuma Nutrition. So you can see these minerals are beautiful, bright orange color like that. This bottle comes with almost 85 servings per bottle. So you just do a couple drops like that to remineralize your water, but either drink high quality spring water or mineral rich water to make sure you're hydrating properly. Okay, final tip. So if you were listening to the earlier market video, I mentioned that some herbs can have a therapeutic effect. This is like the last 5%. You shouldn't rely on this, but this can be great to add on top of everything else you're doing. So this is our Lymph Clear Tonic from Zuma Nutrition. It contains a therapeutic extract of an herb called cleavers, figwort, and also cayenne pepper. So this can really get the lymph drainage going with herbal extracts. This is the only way you can really get food that's strong enough to have a therapeutic effect. Tinctures are where you extract a very large amount of herbs down into a very concentrated liquid just with the active ingredients. So you simply add this therapeutic liquid extract into a glass of water. I recommend diluting it because it's extremely strong. So anyways, back to where we started. There's no pump. Every single thing on this list is just a different way of being the pump for yourself to boost circulation and to get the lymph system moving. Remember though, movement is free. Breath work is free. The herbs in that last 5 are not mandatory. They're just a special product that we made for practitioners around the country. We do have a full protocol written out that details all 6 habits, how to use these products. The link is below. Hope you enjoyed the video.